This is a section through the tongue of a rabbit, not human, but they're both similar, and it's been stained with masson stain. The organ's mainly skeletal muscle surrounded by a stratified squamous mucosa. Look at the very orderly arrangement of the muscle fibres in several directions, separated by connective tissue that stains a light greenish blue. This is what makes our tongue so wonderfully dexterous or flexible. In this lower region are small profiles of numerous nerve bundles needed to regulate this muscle activity. The masson stain makes it easy to distinguish the epithelium from the underlying lamina propria. The epithelium lining the ventral surface is unkeratinized. The dorsum is keratinized but formed into special lingual papillae. Papillae are mucosal elevations. There are various types of lingual papillae depending on where the section passes through the tongue. Filiform papillae are the most numerous type of papillae and are best seen in which the plane of section is completely perpendicular to the surface of the tongue. Papillae are mucosal structures with a core of lamina propria surrounded by epithelium, and you should be able to see at least 3 places where a keratinized barb projects from the epithelium, such as here, and also here, and again here. They tend to project backward and have a mechanical role. I don't think you could lick an ice cream without them. Fungiform papillae are big enough, about 0.5 millimetre, to be able to see with your naked eye, and they tend to be more numerous towards the tip of your tongue. They do contain taste buds, but instead of being pointed like filiform papillae, they're rounded, resembling perhaps an unopened mushroom. This is a longitudinal section through a tongue at the junction between the anterior and the posterior portions. Anterior is over here to the right. One landmark for the transition is this large circumvallate papilla. It's one of 3 histological features that enable me to distinguish the anterior and posterior positions of the tongue. Another difference is the abundance of mucus glands that happen to be quite striking here at the posterior portion of the tongue. They're actually mucous lingual salivary glands. And lastly, there's a lingual tonsil here at the posterior end of the tongue, or the root of the tongue, which I talk about in a bit more detail in my lecture on the lymphatic system. It's now worth our while looking at this circumvallate papillae at a higher magnification. 9 to 12 circumvallate papillae are arranged in a V shape pointing posteriorly. They're shaped like fungiform papillae, but are much larger. They're about 2 to 3 millimetres. And they're surrounded by a trench with cirrus glands, or glands of von Ebner, underneath, and the taste buds are in the walls. The glands empty into the trench to keep the taste buds washed. Their activity is regulated by axons from this parasympathetic ganglion here, and I'll provide more details about these ganglia in my lecture on the peripheral nervous system. Taste buds extend the entire thickness of the epithelium, and here you may be able to see a taste pore appearing just as a tiny dot on the taste bud. These taste buds consist of supporting cells and also the sensory cells.